Hello!
Hi.
I'm so excited to be talking with an incredible student artist, Grace. Thank you for doing this.
No problem. Thank you for letting me be here.
Well, I wanted to chat with you because I can just see in your work in art class, and I had you in middle school too. And so
Mm-hmm.
I've really seen you develop as an artist and excel in so many different ways, and you have an obvious theme going with your art. So I thought you would be a perfect person to showcase for our website. So I'm going to ask you some questions if that's okay.
Yeah.
Okay, perfect. So first thing I want you to tell me about is what is your journey with art up until now?
Um, I don't know when it exactly started, but I know that some of my earlier works were mostly sculptures, things that I called recycle art, and I would glue coins to socks or glue socks to things or several different cardboard sculptures. And I would give them to people for their birthdays or for Christmas. And it's a running joke in my family whenever I buy them something or I make them something that isn't trash glued together. It's like every year we get further and further away from your roots. And sometimes you need to go back. You need to remember your humble beginnings.
The socks.
The socks.
Well, very creative. Leave it to you
Yeah.
to come up with something like that. And it's amazing that you've evolved into the artwork that you'll see on this website because you are a featured artist on this website.
Yeah.
You can go and look up Grace G and all the different cool stuff. Um, but so let's talk about what you do now. What's your favorite kind of media now and what inspires you?
I mostly work with acrylics now. I'm starting to wane towards oil because it's what I've seen, the amazing portraits and things that I've seen. It's easier to get that picture realism with oil, and it doesn't dry so easily. And so you can go in and you can fix things, and that's my main issue is piling on wet paint until my paper crinkles up, and I hate it. um I mostly work with anatomy now, and you can see my little skeleton back here. His name is Philip. I love
Philip.
Philip with all my heart.
I was going to ask about Philip. Cool.
And then he has a pet snake, Lazarus,
Oh,
right
wow.
here.
All right. So do you use him as a model or what do you use to look at to be able to figure out how to draw these things?
Well, it depends on what part of the body I'm doing. If it's something to do with flesh and the way the body moves, I'll usually use myself, or I'll just Google some reference photos for free. Um, when doing flesh, I mostly take pictures of my own just to get the base colors and know how contours work. But Philip's what I use for an accurate skeletal structure. I don't really work with muscles yet. I'm trying to get the base down. But once I work with muscles, I have several different anatomy books that I can look at.
Very cool. Yeah,
Yeah.
I'm sure those anatomy books are all over it. Frank Netter, artist of the week
Yeah.
for Design and Draws, is an anatomical illustrator. So very cool. So do you have any art that you're working on? I know I have most of your art at school still, so I photographed that and put it on the site. But do you have anything to show us?
I have a lot actually. First off, a sculpture. This is my first skeleton, and he's actually August is actually a Halloween prop that I bought some
Oh, I'm
flowers.
sorry, Grace. It's kind of hard to hear you. Will you? He looks cool. Will you point it towards you?
Yeah.
There you go.
He's actually a um Halloween prop that I
Oh,
bought
okay.
all through his rib cage. He loves it there. He's chilling. It's not really my go-to for accurate anatomy, but he's pretty. He's pretty.
I think some of your drawings you've done for class have been based off of him.
Yes.
Yeah.
And then there's this picture, which was originally a photo I took from my driveway of the sky, and then I painted it.
Mm-hmm.
And it's some of my more cotton candy soft things. I have charcoal portraits that I've done for middle school. This is Jay Bershaw, one of my favorite actors. I also started a self-portrait back when I had brown hair, and I've never finished it.
Cool. Yeah, I haven't seen
This
that
is
one.
her. She's chilling, waiting for me to finish her. This one is a pretty spooky one that I did not too long ago.
Ooh.
It's
I like
a
it.
bloodshot eyeball on a person with a toga and is being choked by a disembodied hand.
What inspires that? How do you come up with that?
I have absolutely no idea where it originally came from.
Okay.
Mostly I think about, I don't paint things because they look cool. I paint things to show emotion,
Yeah.
and the power to give a 2D object an emotion is what my main goal is. Realism is just a perk of the job. And so I thought about all the times that I've had to keep a secret. So one unblinking eye, knowing what's going on and seeing what's going on, but not able to speak is a big thing. And then I just did the toga because I'm not big on nudity.
That's great. Especially since it's a high school art show. So
Yeah. And then here's one that I haven't finished again, but it's a hand on a thigh.
Oh, yeah.
This is a drawing that I did before the past, present, and the fog in between, that big statue portrait.
Yes.
And this was when I was first practicing hands. And that whole piece is dedicated to hands because of how I struggled with it. And dedicating things to hardships that I have is another thing that I do a lot, just to sort of conquer it.
Yeah.
I also have this huge portrait that, or not portrait, canvas that I have not finished yet. I haven't even started painting it, so it's very light pencil markings, but I have my sketch for it. So,
Very cool. Yeah, I think we've talked about that one in class.
yeah, I have no idea what the background's gonna be,
Right.
but it's a journey that counts.
That's right. This has been something you've been cooking up for a while, because I remember talking about it in person. So that means it's been at least 6 weeks. So
Yeah.
very cool.
I spend upwards of 20 weeks on a project, just getting the idea down, and then color matching, which I do digitally before I waste any of my paints. Who knows when I'm going to be able to go out and get more. And then it comes down to if I still like it by the end, and then I paint. So layers upon layers, really.
I love that. So that brings me to my final question. What does the future look like for Grace? Do you plan on taking more classes? What do you think
Yes,
your future career will look like?
I use art as sort of a pause, not necessarily looking at it as a job per se, but I'll always do some sort of painting or some sort of art just to take a break, really. And it's mostly to do with the way I'm wired because for some reason, ever since I was a kid, I can't see images in my head. It's actually very common, but that's where the hyper realism comes into play because I'm always looking at a picture and I'm always trying to get it accurate because I can't actually see it in my head. And then also, I see people as colors, not like their actual skin tone, but like my mother's the color purple. I can't actually see my mother's face in my head, but I know the color that I associate with her.
Okay.
And so getting that is always going to be a way that I express myself, no matter how long it takes me to actually pick up a brush. I'm going to be expressing myself in some way, artistically.
Absolutely.
And what I'm planning on, obviously, this is probably going to change 20 times before I actually have to decide something. But with my love of anatomy and anthropology, I want to get a doctorate in anthropology, specifically criminal anthropology. And I actually got accepted to the National Leadership Program for Law and CSI.
Very cool.
But it got postponed this summer.
Yes. Of course.
So I'm going in 2020, but I have the recommendation and everything, an actual slot in it where I'm going to be learning more about CSI and my passions of anatomy and things. But art is always going to have to play a role in my life. It's just not going to be the forefront and what I make money off of.
That's okay.
Yeah.
You're just so creative. I'm happy to see you doing it. And I think that pause is important sometimes, especially if you get into a really demanding job like something with CSI or with law. You probably need a little break every once in a while. So,
Yeah.
Very cool. Well, thank you for chatting with us.
No problem. I'm happy to do it.
I'm happy to show you off to everyone. So you have a great day, okay?
You too.